Anita, do you want to lead us in the pledge?
Sure.
That's Where's that?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we're going to do roll call. So I'm not sure if it would be easier with you, Karen, if you want to just call people out and we'll say here. Oh, and our student rep is not here, so everybody else may be here, I don't know.
Amelia Mantle.
I'm here virtually.
Oh,
Amelia.
okay.
All right, so Alex Davila.
Here.
Here. Mike Scalera.
Here.
Brandon Foreman. Here. Chris Russo. Here. Laura Keeling. Here. Julia DePasco.
Oh, is she muted? Will you,
Oh,
can you unmute Julietta? Pasco?
No, I can't unmute it. They have to unmute themselves.
Oh, okay. Julietta, can you unmute yourself?
Or wave if she's.
You can wave? Okay, she's giving us a signal.
Mary Kay Carr.
Here.
Jordy Covey.
Here.
Scott Munster.
Here.
William Otto.
Amelia,
Here.
okay.
And Mark Richards.
Here.
Okay, so we have a quorum. So now I'm going to begin with announcements and opening statements. I want to welcome everybody in person and online to our first meeting of our 21-22 school year. This is a very big deal to be back in person in our global pandemic, and I'm glad to see everyone here and be able to participate at our meeting. I want to give a special thanks to all of the Taft LSC members who are volunteers, who are taking their time out to make sure that Taft is a place where our students can thrive and succeed. That is, I believe in the end, why we're all here is for our students and for our students' success at Taft. And as Mr. G always says, our mission is to educate global citizens and our vision is to create a better world. There's so many announcements, so please bear with me. One of the things that I want to say is we have had so many changes with the LSC and coming down like every kind of few days. So, and especially during this time when we don't know what other people are experiencing and going through, we just want to let everybody know that we appreciate your patience with us. We appreciate your kindness. We're all a part of the same community and we're all working towards the same goals. And we want to help each other out. We may have different opinions or different ideas, but we are all members of Eagle Nation. And I wanted to, sorry, there's just a lot of things I need to make sure I cover. Did everybody sign in before they came in? That is, we need to have that for contact tracing in case anybody is exposed to COVID. Thank you for signing in. If everybody keeps their masks on for the whole meeting, that is also a CPS requirement. Okay, so I'd also want to point out that this is new as well, doing a virtual and in-person meeting. So hopefully we have Mr. Trin here, who is amazing staff member, and hopefully we will not have any issues and the people online can participate as well. We want to be cognizant of the fact that we want our public participation, but we also want everybody to be healthy and safe. So I wanted to, just as an introduction, before everybody on the LSC introduces themselves and gives us a little bit of information about why they're here, I wanted to just point out what it is that the LSC all the LSCs for the CPS high school do and what we're doing here. We do have, you can always go on CPS to the LSC resource guide so you can see what it is that LSCs do. Primarily, we focus on 3 issues, which is the continuous improvement work plan, principal evaluation, and budget. For example, we conduct an annual evaluation of our principal, and then every 4 years we have their contract is reviewed and we have to reinstate their contract. We also, if we have to, it's kind of irrelevant, if we have to vote for a new principal, we go through all of those procedures about having people apply for and voting for principal. Kind of like the big deal is the continuous improvement work plan, which is developed, is it a committee? Okay, a committee that's made up of, can you tell me who it's made up of?
Everybody, community members, teachers, administrators,
and
LSC members.
So we kind of, the way the school is run is based on the continuous improvement work plan. And what we do is we gather information as the LSC through our committee reports, from our parents reporting. We have 6 parents on here to represent parents. We have 2 community members to represent the community. We have a student rep to represent the students, and we take all of this information in so that we can make sure that we're following the continuous improvement work plan, and we can advise the principal on, whether we are following it or not, or if we need to make improvements or amendments and things like that. And then finally, we work on approving the budget and approving budget transfers over $10,000. So generally some pretty dry stuff. We're looking at, committee reports, we're looking at statistics, we're looking at numbers, and we are making decisions for the school based on those facts. That's really what we're limited to in our capacity as an LSC. We do, of course, it's a public forum, and we do appreciate comments, and we do have an LSC email, and those things can all be found on the website. Those also help us inform our decisions for those basic topics that we work on. Okay, I don't want to miss anything else. Oh, sorry, if you did want to speak today, we do have, if you're in person, you need to fill out the form that is at the end of the table here, where our secretary, Ms. Like, is sitting. So if you want to go, be on the 2-minute public participation, you have to include your name on that. That's just a CPS rule. Okay, so on that note, we are going to meet our LSC. It's the beginning of the school year, so we want to welcome everyone. We want to welcome our LSC members, and we want to give a little background, a brief background of our connection to Taft, how long we've been on the LSC. We have students, and just that kind of a thing. I don't know if we would prefer to start, Chris, and we can just go straight around like this.
Sure. Okay. Hello everyone, Chris Russo. This is my 3rd year on the Taft LSC. I just graduated my first, she's an alumni now. She's a freshman in college, and I have a junior. I lived in Norwood Park my entire life, some 40 years, and I never stepped foot in Taft. I went to Res. I'm one of those. And then my daughter shadowed at Res, and she shadowed at Taft, and she fell in love with the school. So I came here, and I fell in love with the school. And I'm proud that we finally, thanks to our leadership and our teachers who are so extraordinary, and the community, who we have an incredible group of alumni, I get it. I get Eagle Nation, and I'm proud to be part of it now.
Mike Scalera, I'm the parent representative. I have 2 kids that do go to Taft, both juniors. I am a product of CPS. I went to Locke School over on Oak Park Avenue in Diversity. Not for high school here, but okay. I joined the LSC because I wanted to bring fresh ideas. Working on the outside, coming in, working with Mr. G and the other members of the LSC to collaborate and figure out what's new, what is fresh, and what can we bring to help advance Taft, as well as getting the community involved in allowing us to then, make this a school that becomes important in all of the Chicago public school system. So I'm also president of the Taft Football Booster Club. Seeing the excitement and the buzz this coming season, I'm telling you that I'm so super happy with the kids, with all the support from the Taft staff, as well as everyone in the community. And I can tell you that we're trending down the right path, having a lot of people who are interested and involved. So I'm very happy to see you.
Hi, I'm Laura Keeling, and I have two daughters. My eldest, Olivia, is an alumni, and she's a sophomore in college at Augustana. And my youngest, Molly, is a senior here this year. I am also an alumni. I graduated in 1991. And I've lived in North Park my entire life, went to North Park School in Taft, and very, very proud Taft Eagle Nation. And I joined ran and was luckily accepted onto the LSC because I've seen it through the years. My father was on the first LSC here, was the first chairperson, and I've seen it over the years, and in Taft's not so great years, and in the years when I was the only kid who went to the public school from the neighborhood, and I've seen where it came, and I just really want to help propel it and keep it going and continue the wonderful role that the school has going right now. Future good.
I'm Scott Plesner. I am the teacher rep. I was elected last year, so this is my second year. I've been teaching at Taft for 16 years. I was a student teacher here before that, but nobody knows about that version of me. It's my 16 years, and I joined the LSC for the same reason I teach, which is I want to make sure that our school has working classrooms that build engaged citizens who can end up driving the big rig truck that is our community and our nation.
My name is Bridget Doherty Drubbing. I'm also a teacher rep. I've been at Taft for over 20 years. And similar, my reasons for doing this is to be a teacher voice, but I think we have the most amazing students at Taft High School. So I feel like everything I do is to try to make this the best place for our students.
Yes.
Hi again, everyone. My name is Alex Davila. This is my first year on LSC in Taft. I was at the Amundsen LSC for 5 years. I have two daughters who are graduates from there. And so although I wanted to be involved in Taft, my schedule's conflicted. So this was my first opportunity, and I'm so glad to be here. I learned so much at Amundsen and really spent a lot of time communicating with the parents and giving them, I feel I learned a lot of vital information that you just kind of don't know. Most teenagers don't talk to their parents. And so I really enjoyed being an advocate for the parents and getting information out to them that they needed. I am a CPS graduate myself. I went to Lane a very long time ago. And let me tell you, I love the neighborhood schools. I love the neighborhood schools. I did not have my kids look at selective enrollment. I'm a big advocate of the neighborhood schools and the community that they have and the feeling that they have because of the community, the strong community. So yeah, and I'm looking forward to working with everyone this year.
My name is Mr. Chris Saber. I've been here, this is my 8th year as principal, proud principal. I've been in this neighborhood since 1973. Like I like to tell people, when Hasty Tasty was the best hot dog on Milwaukee Avenue.
I remember that.
I believe in this school. I was at another school where I could have very easily coasted out until my retirement. And it didn't seem right, it's not my nature. So when I came here, I've got a great staff and we got a vision and we're doing a great job. And the reason why I feel this school is great is because my assistant principal, Ms. Greenblatt, we're Flores are here. We also have Mr. Glowitz, Mr. Levins, and Mr. Kuzma, and Ms. Hess. So those are the ones, they were here this summer on Sundays. I would call them and ask them, what are you guys doing? Oh, we're all at Taft. Really? And so it's on their backs that we started out the school year on such a great start. I'll just say real quick, I've made 7 graduation speeches to our Eagles. The last 3 years, what I've always told them is the last lesson I teach them before they leave the campus is that whenever they see a veteran with a hat on, they have to thank them for their service. And I see we have 3 hats right here, so I'd be remiss if I didn't say thank you, gentlemen, for your service. And I always say that rule has no exceptions at all. So that's the last thing we teach Eagles before they leave. So I'm proud to be your principal, and I'm looking forward to this great group we have up here. We have great teachers here. We have rock star teachers. I'll just say this real quick that I know we have some on the board here, but the school will brag if they have a national board certified teacher. They will hold that teacher up. Right now we have 22 of them. In a few years, we're going to be close to 50. So that's the quality of the teaching that you did in this school. So with that, I'll pass, and I will pass it to my good friend, Mary Howe.
Hi, Mary Kay Cobb. I am a staff rep. I've been at Taft for 15 or 16 years, I'm not quite sure. I love it. I love this school. I walked in the door the first time and was scared to death of it and of the kids, and realized that the school wasn't a mess. It wasn't what my brain had said it might be. The kids are amazing. I feel very privileged to be working here. So, thanks.
Hello, everybody. Thanks for coming, and I want to thank you for your service. I do appreciate it. My name is Mrs. Bernanke. I've been a member on the board for 8 years, no, longer than that. I've been at Taft for 14 years. My daughter, who's here, started the academic center 14 years ago. My son, who is now in his senior year in college, I've always been involved. So when my daughter came here from extra school, got on the PTSA, I was president and treasurer, and then I became a parent rep on the local school council, and now I'm community rep. So I just want to get involved. I want to know what's going on in the school. I want to know what people think. It's very important to me. So, welcome and thank you.
Hi, everybody. My name is Maria McMorgan. I'm a 3rd-year parent rep on the LSC. I have a senior. I have 4 daughters. My youngest one is in CPS now as a senior. I have another alumni of Taft. She graduated in 2011. So I can see a huge change from the time she was here until my daughter now. And Mr. G, I thank you for that. She absolutely loves playing. My 2 older daughters are alumni for playing. Sorry. But I got involved. I was working full time. I'm a recent 3-year retiree from the Chicago Heart District, so I didn't have a lot of time on my hands to be involved with my other daughters as much. So now that I'm 3 years retired, I have time to get involved via the school. I'm a 1.5 miles from Taft. I've been at Jefferson Park for about 19 years, grew up in North Mayfair, and I can't say enough about the school and being around here, and teachers, community. Mr. G is like amazing. If anybody thinks otherwise, no, but anyway. And I also probably will have a grandson. I have 5 grandchildren, 1 more on the way, and my oldest grandson is in 7th grade, and Taft is his sister school. So wow. I know, I'm not young. And hopefully he'll be here and get to enjoy it even more. So thank you.
I'm Jennifer White, and this is my 1st year on the LSC. My daughter is in 8th grade. I've lived in Jefferson Park for about 12 years, originally from Minnesota, and came to Chicago to go to graduate school at Northwestern. I'm on the faculty at UIC English department, and one reason I was excited to be on this committee is that I have so many students that went to Taft, and I hear really good things about it, and I've heard about how the school has changed for the better over the years. My students are really vocal about it, and that made me excited about being here. I sort of see all the Taft students as teachers. And that's fun, and I just really like being here.
Okay, so thank you, everyone. That's your Taft LSC. Oh, you know what? I'm sorry. Do you, Amelia and, sorry, Miss Pasco, I don't know if you can unmute yourself, Miss Pasco, so you can introduce yourself.
Yes, good afternoon to you.
There you go.
I am a school rep. I retired in 2004 from Taft. I was a school psychologist working for CPS. And I always had Taft in my heart. I work with all the children, and particularly the minority children, from 7 to 5 every day. And a group of community people during 2019, before the pandemic, approached me and requested me to run as a community rep. My time is limited because I'm involved with legislation, and I'm involved with other national and state organizations that work and promote special education for children. And this is all I'm doing right now. And I used to have more time when I worked than now that I'm retired. Anything, my specialty is bilingualism, language, intellect, culture, psychology, and my heart is always with the parents of children with disabilities. I'm always available for any parent they need. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Amelia Mano, and I'm the student rep. And I've been on the LSC for 1 year now, and I've been at Taft for 6 years. I've been here since 7th grade, and yeah.
Thank you, Ms. Mano. Sorry, so that's our Taft LSC, and I believe that's every single member that we have on our Taft LSC. I do, before we move further on in the agenda, because this is all new, so Mr. Garcia, who runs LSC Relations, has informed me that in order for LSC members who are virtual to participate in a in-person meeting, that the LSC who is present has to vote by a majority to allow virtual LSC members to participate. So I would like to make a motion to allow our 2 members to participate.
I'll second that motion.
Okay. Does anybody need to discuss it, or can we go ahead and vote?
Go ahead.
Okay, so again, I'm making a motion to allow our 2 members to participate. I don't know if you want to call for the vote, Ms. Lake?
Sure. Alex?
Yes.
Yes.
Alex Valera?
Yes.
Yes. Aye. Laura Keeling?
Yes.
Karen Taft?
Yes.
Dory Training?
Yes.
Scott Fenster?
Yes.
And Mark Frazier?
Yes.
Okay, so the motion carries. Ms. Pasco and Ms. Mano, you are both participating in our LSC meeting tonight, but I do have to tell you that also according to LSC Relations and these new provisions, because you are not present and you are not allowed to vote in tonight's meeting on anything, if we want to allow that to happen in our future meetings, we will have to amend our bylaws according to Mr. Garcia. So that is, those are the LSC relation rules. That was told to me today. So you are able to participate, but you are not able to vote. Thank you. And then I just want to point out to the people who are virtual, we have disabled chat for the meeting until we are at a point where we are open to public comment. And then we will open the chat. Next on our agenda is the approval of today's agenda. Everybody have a copy of that?
I want to make a motion to amend the agenda to move the pledge of allegiance discussion and vote before we do our other business. I just think it would be hard for everybody to sit through the whole meeting. And I would also like the people who want to speak about the pledge be able to do that before our rest of our business. So that is my motion. Second.
Okay. So, did you, okay, sorry. Okay, so we have a motion, so before we can vote on the motion, we need to have it. So, although Ms. Pasco and Ms. Mono, you are not able to vote, you can still be a part of the discussion. So the motion on the floor is to amend the agenda to move up the Pledge of Allegiance vote before the principal's reports, item number 6, reports, and to allow the members of the public who are here to speak on the Pledge of Allegiance vote to speak before we vote. Anybody have anything they want to discuss? Okay, in that case, I just want to make a couple of points. Let me get back to my notes here.
I do have a quick question.
Okay.
How many people have signed up to speak on that issue?
Has anybody signed up to speak on the issue?
No.
Okay.
I'm sorry, somebody is raising their hand. Okay.
I do have a question. So when this was brought up, I'm just curious. I'm a community rep, so I speak to my community whenever we have a hot topic situation or something that we need to vote on that affects the community or parents. And I'm assuming the parents do it. I did it when I was a parent. Same thing with faculty. So I just wondered, why this was even brought up. That's my question. Because we answered last month when you asked why we wanted to continue, but we never really heard why we didn't want to. So my question is, why we didn't hear a reason, and also, is this coming from the faculty? Have they brought it to you, or is this just the two? I don't know. That's my question.
I'm happy to address this. So at our organizational meeting, so LSCs meet in the month of July. Every LSC meets in the month of July in order to set the calendar for the year and to talk about procedural issues. I was the person that asked about the inclusion of the Pledge of Allegiance as part of our protocol at Taft, and pointed out that most LSCs do not do the Pledge of Allegiance. So yeah, it was a procedural issue and was brought up at our organizational meeting.
Okay, and just for clarification, the discussion and vote that took place in July was about a organizational question about the Taft LSC, and if it was a question of why we, because we follow Robert's rules, all LSCs follow Robert's rules, which is a rule book about how to proceed with meetings. And the Pledge of Allegiance is not a part of Robert's rules, so the question was presented at the organizational meeting, is that, this is not a part of Robert's rules, are we going to continue saying the Pledge of Allegiance? So the vote was a procedural organizational vote. It was not a referendum on our patriotism, our politics, our love of this country, or any kind of political view. It was just about an organizational meeting about running the LSC. Now, this has nothing to do with what happens inside the school. It has nothing to do with what happens with students. It has nothing to do with any of that. It's not, it was not called as a question about our feelings. It was called about a question of fact. So that was what we were discussing. And in doing so, we had our secretary took a poll. We have an LSC forum for all LSCs in the city. Of course, we have a lot of schools, and not all of them replied. But we did have 15 high schools that replied. Taft was the only one who says the Pledge of Allegiance before their LSC meetings. We had 25 elementary CPS elementary schools respond. So that was 25. We had one school out of the 25 who says the Pledge of Allegiance before their LSC meetings. I just share this with you because these are the facts. These are like my personal opinions or anything, but this is just what we're working with, which is what we usually work with on the LSC. So just so everybody understands that as well, I did ask Ms. Bernacki to see if she could find out, because she's been on the LSC, I think the longest of everybody who's sitting on the LSC. If she could find out how long Taft's been saying the Pledge of Allegiance, because nobody here could answer that question. We still don't know when it started, but she talked to a former member, Ted Paparis, and he was here on the LSC from 2006 to 2013, and he said that that Pledge of Allegiance was said since he had been on in 2006.
Excuse me, I can answer that question.
Oh, can you?
Because my father was on the original LSC, and they've been saying it since the inception.
Okay, so that was something
I
that
used to go
started.
to all the meetings.
That was something that started. When do you know what year that was?
LSCs came into being in 89?
88 or 89.
Okay.
88 or 89, yeah.
Okay, so that was 88 or 89 that Taft LSC has been saying the Pledge of Allegiance before their meeting. So those are, so that's all the information that we have gathered. So if anybody else has any other
I do have a
questions?
question.
Okay,
How many people have signed up to speak on this issue?
and we do have one person virtually.
And if I voted not to go with the change, we would do the Pledge of Allegiance vote as item 7, and then public participation is 9? As it's on there?
Yes,
So public participation would be after the vote?
yes, and I would just let you know, this is while we're having this discussion, that after this motion is made, I just want to give the further information that because I only found out today that LSC members who are not in person cannot participate in a vote.
Yes.
I was going to call a motion to just table this indefinitely because we will need to amend our bylaws. We will need to have, as it's an organizational question for our LSC, I would like all of our LSC members to be able to vote. So, you know, I don't know, once we vote on this, that may be moot, because if we vote to go ahead and amend the agenda that way, then that's where we are.
So perhaps afterwards, you could, or somebody could make the motion that you suggested?
But we already have a motion.
Right, there's one on the table.
Right.
So we have to vote on
Okay,
that motion.
I like that option.
I would just add, I would be concerned if we're setting precedent about like changing the order
We've done
of public participation.
We've done it multiple
Well, can we
times.
just let, are you finished with your?
Just that's topic specific.
Okay.
So we're gonna vote on reordering the agenda now?
It's in the same motion, it's to reorder the agenda and to allow for public participation before we vote.
For just this.
Just this specific topic.
Okay, sounds good. All
This
right.
is topic.
Alex, do you vote?
No.
Peter Bernacki?
Yes.
Can we have a show of hands, please?
We don't do
So
that.
that people back there can actually hear you in your
Give
vote.
order.
We'll try to say it louder, but we can't show hands. I mean, we can say our name also. Is that what you're saying?
It's hard to know
I don't know if
which
it's
voice is talking when everybody's
That's all.
behind an ask.
We understand.
Yes. Vice Versa?
Yes.
Yes.
Hi.
Yes.
Leader Pasco?
Oh, she can't vote? Yep.
Mary Kay
Yes.
Bridget Doherty Trump?
No.
Scott Fletcher?
No.
Mark?
Yes.
So we have 3 no's and the rest yeses, so it does pass.
Okay, so the motion passes. So we will put that right before the principal's report, after we approve the minutes. Okay?
I make a motion to approve the minutes from, August 10th.
I second.
Okay, so there's a motion to approve the minutes from August 10th. Does anybody have any questions or clarifications on the minutes? No, then we'll go ahead and move to approve the minutes for August 10th. I think we could probably, it's a general consensus, so if it's a general consensus, we can all just say aye to approve the minutes. Aye. Okay. Okay, so now, before the principal's report, as per our what we just voted on, we are going to allow public participation, and that is 2 minutes, public participation. So just remember, everybody, to let whoever is speaking speak. Please do not interrupt them. Let them have their 2 minutes to speak. And I don't know if Ms. Like, since you have that next to you, if you want to go ahead and call people from there, but I will also let the person who's virtual know that once we're done with our in-person list, that you can go ahead and speak for 2 minutes as well. And before we begin, is there somebody who normally is a clock keeper who can keep the 2 minutes for us?
I can be around my phone.
Okay, thanks, Mr. Russo.
No problem.
Okay.
Okay, the first speaker will be John.
All right, yes, thank you. First of all, thanks for having me here tonight. I really appreciate it. I'd like to talk to you in 2 different forms. One is a veteran. I spent 22.5 years in the military, 3 major conflicts, et cetera, et cetera. But I'd also like to talk to you as an American. All my experience in the military, it's the greatest melting pot there is for America. Okay, every one of us, diverse backgrounds, different educations, everything else. One thing that keeps us together in the military is how we salute the flag, how we love the flag, patriotism. Now, as an American, I can speak to you right now, we know how divisive times are. Okay, but I would ask you, what are the things now that keep us together as Americans? There's very few things. One is we get up and we sing the national anthem, most of us. It keeps us together. It gives me a great feeling. I almost get teary-eyed. Another thing is that we go before public meetings, and when I was in school, we say the Pledge of Allegiance. It's one of the very few things that keeps us together as Americans. Please do not give this up. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'd like to thank the board for having me here. I'm a graduate class 66 at Taft. I was in the Air Force for 8 years. And I think you ought to keep the Pledge of Allegiance number 1, as Dutch said. We're a melting pot. And this is the only country where you have freedom that you don't have anywhere. I wouldn't want to say I pledge allegiance to North Korea or I pledge allegiance to Russia. The United States, yes. There's pride. And I think you ought to keep the Pledge of Allegiance. And I actually am a little ashamed that this would come up in a meeting. That's all I have to say.
Thank you.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. What I'd like to say is, my wife's a Taft graduate in 1964, before I started. But my name is Bill Swaggerty. I'm a veteran of the United States Army and concerned about the proposed vote on the Pledge of Allegiance. I'd like so many others fought for the freedom of our country. I cannot understand how this would be considered for a vote
and all the other issues facing our city and schools. If someone does not want to say the pledge, I fought for them to have the freedom to do so. However, do not take the freedom away from others who want to say it. I also feel it starts with this meeting. It will trickle down a slippery slope to other school functions. How is this discussion even possible after a weekend commemoration that attacks on September 11th? That was a date that challenged America forever, but made our citizens realize how important our values as Americans are. We treated each other with kindness instead of the divisions we see today. Lastly, and most importantly, what examples are we as adult citizens of this country setting for the students who witnessed a topic like this even needed a discussion and vote? They are future leaders of this country. We should be doing a better job at teaching them.
Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. I thank you for this opportunity. My name is Margaret Shayovska. I want to first of all support what these veterans have said. It's already making me very emotional. Okay, I want to express that my family, we immigrated. I was a very young child to this country. We assimilated to the culture and to everything, to become a part of what the American story is. My brother is a Marine. Okay, we are very dedicated to living in this country and to really appreciating all of the freedoms. To me, all of these discussions about whether or not we should be saying the pledge, they're very lame to me, in my estimation. You are all highly educated individuals. I do not understand why this would even be an issue. What is the end game? Where are we going? We need to really consider how we want to mentor the youth of this country. There probably is a lot more I want to say, but right now the articulation is not flowing, so I won't take up more time. But again, I am so grateful for the service of these gentlemen and all of the young men and women that have served this country. Let's not further make any mistakes by having this type of vote. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, the last speaker will be Art.
Thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak here. It's been a while since I've been here. But my name is Art Ellingson. I'm a 1968 graduate of Taft High School, a 1964 graduate of Edison Elementary School. Back then it was called Thomas Alva Edison Elementary School, which is still engraved in the granite. I don't know why they call it Edison Park, all of a sudden, but anyway. When I was at Taft, we said the Pledge of Allegiance every morning, all the students. There was one semester at Edison we didn't say the Pledge of Allegiance in the morning. You know what that was? That was afternoon kindergarten. And in primary grade, we sung America, My Country 'Tis of Thee, because we could, as youngsters, sing the complicated national anthem. By third or fourth grade, we were singing the national anthem and doing the Pledge of Allegiance. This is the most patriotic song we have. It was written, actually, national anthem, 207 years ago today. Today is the 207th birthday of our national anthem. I remember seeing 2 weeks ago a video online of a baseball game, I think, and you could hear the guy on the loudspeaker say, "We're not going to do the Pledge of Allegiance or the national anthem today." And the crowd stood to their feet and they sung the national anthem anyway. And the game couldn't start till they finished. But I learned over the weekend for the first time that the students aren't saying the Pledge of Allegiance. I want you guys to say the Pledge of Allegiance, yes, but I also want you to change the rules and have the students say the Pledge of Allegiance every morning. Okay? They should. I learned only this weekend that they weren't. Okay? I didn't know that until this weekend. Now, I'm an officer in 3 different veterans groups, the American Legion in Elk Grove Village, the VFW in Elk Grove Village, and the Vietnam Veterans of America. I know these 2 guys, they're also members of those groups. But again, I'm surprised that this is even an issue, and if anyone brought it up. And I would urge you to keep this. I mean, William Howard Taft is the only guy who was president of the United States and Chief Justice of the Supreme Court. He's rolling over in his grave right now, that we even have to have this discussion. I urge you to continue doing the Pledge of Allegiance, and urge you to have the students do the Pledge of Allegiance as well. Thank you.
I do want to point out that we have one person. Are they still there? Who wants to speak? Oh, there's 2? Okay. Okay. Do you, can you, I don't know what we need to do to have allowed to speak. If you look at their names.
They have to unmute themselves.
Oh, is it, sorry, Kristen Garcia? Okay, Kristen Garcia, can you unmute yourself? You have 2 minutes.
Thank you. I'll be brief. I would just like to say that I think as an elected LSC official, that a pledge should be made to support the academic institution's mission and vision. I'm not trying to disparage or cast any kind of not respectful voice related to the Pledge of Allegiance. I'm not quite sure in terms of a governing body for an academic institution if the Pledge of Allegiance is something that needs to be mandatory. So I would just like to say that I appreciate the opportunity to vote or to have my voice heard, and thank you very much.
Okay, and then is Michael Howe the second person?
Yeah, I have a comment, but on a separate issue, so I think I'd probably just wait till later.
Oh, okay, all right. Thank you. Yeah, in our public comment at the end, that is where you can comment.
Perfect, thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, so we have heard from our public comment. Does anybody want to make a motion?
I'll make a motion that we vote on keeping the pledge at our LSC meetings.
Okay.
I'll second it.
Okay, so a motion has been made to keep the Pledge of Allegiance at our LSC meetings and has been seconded. Is there any discussion or question before we vote on this motion?
The kids don't say the Pledge of Allegiance? Is that
No,
right?
they don't. They don't, no. The
Okay.
Pledge of Allegiance is said in, from what I've told, only the military schools and CPS.
What did you say? I can't hear you.
I'm sorry, what I understand right now is the Pledge of Allegiance is not said in any high schools except the military institutions and CPS.
I just want to clarify based on one commenter's request. I do not believe that the LSC, any LSC, has the authority to tell the school whether or not they say the Pledge of Allegiance. That's not something we can do.
You ought to try.
I have a question. Why is it in the public schools?
I'm sorry, will you please
I
sign in
it's
if you want to give a comment?
Or I'll be here after the meeting.
Okay. All right. Okay, so are there any other questions from the LSC members or comments? Okay, then the motion.
I have one question. So,
Sure.
You're planning to move that we vote later so that remote people can vote, is that correct?
No, they're not going to be able to vote during this meeting. We can only vote on.
To table this to a different meeting, so we.
We're not going to do that because we're working on this motion, and this motion will stand. So we won't be doing that. And in order to allow other members to vote, we are going to have to start a whole process with our bylaws, so that we can't do that tonight anyway, that they're just unable to vote. So it's going to be 11 of 13 members who are able to vote on this. So for your notes, it'll just be those 11 people, if to call out. Okay, so then we are now going to vote on the motion to keep the Pledge of Allegiance at the beginning of the Taft LSC meeting.
Okay, Alex, do it?
Nay.
Yes.
When they vote, can you raise your hand so we know who's voting?
I was yes.
Thank you. Who said no? Who said no?
I said no. I said nay.
Wow.
We shouldn't do that. We shouldn't do that.
Please, let's be respectful.
I say no. Vice Mayor,
Yes.
Mayor McCord,
Yes.
Commissioner Russo,
Aye.
Mark Healy,
Yes.
Mayor Lindell,
Yes.
Mayor Lindell,
No.
Scott Fenster,
I abstain.
and Mark Pacheco.
Yes.
Seven yeses. So,
Will you just repeat that so
we have
everyone?
7 yeses, so we will continue to say the pledge, and there were 3 noes and 1 abstention.
Okay, so the motion passes. I just want to encourage everyone who is here, if you can, if you're able, please stay. We appreciate your public participation. We hope you can stay and learn more about what we do with the Taft LSC. So you're all welcome online as well to continue on with the meeting. If you are present and you're leaving, if you would just sign out of what time you've left the meeting, we'd appreciate that.
I have a question, please. How can you find out who voted no and why they voted?
So you can look at, so on our website, under About, there's local school council. You can click on that link, and in a couple of days, we will have our minutes posted, and the minutes will state who voted, which and how they voted. You will also, there's a recording happening right now of our meeting, so that will also be posted in a couple of days. And you can also find that on the Taft LSC. Like if you go to Taft and you go to About and you find local school council, you can click on that, and that will give you the information. There will be no information as to why people voted the way they voted,
Why not?
Not required.
because that's not required. Okay, thank you. Okay, so we are now moving on to part 6 of our agenda, which begins with the principal's report.
All right, I'll just wait.
Yep.
Let's take a quick little water sip break. I do.
Where's your little thing?
Yeah. No, it's a blue thing.
A little blue. Oh, it's up there.
We only do the glucose.
Oh, gosh, yeah.
I didn't want to approach her. Basically, it'll see the audio. I just said that last time, the red box. This is yeah, yeah.
I'm making my hands sticky, which is, feel kinds of weird. I don't like that. I'm not used to, I didn't have my kids when they were little, how parents would send, I never had my kids do that.
Who's a rock star?
Okay, I'd like to get going here.
All right. No, go ahead. That's what I was gonna ask if you're ready to go.
Okay, one thing that we did skip on the agenda.
Oh, sorry. Did we?
We did, well, we had it on all previous agendas, is that we normally had a student spotlight. And
Oh.
it is my oversight that we didn't do
Okay.
it, so is it gonna ruffle any
Where?
feathers if we have a student spotlight real quick?
No,
I didn't
no,
think
we
so.
wanna have a student spotlight. Okay.
And I know they're gone right now, but I just wanna thank everybody for putting principles before personalities, and then that's the way we're modeling behavior for our next generation here, and that's how we get things done. So I wanted to give kudos, but everybody left, but that's good. So I was thinking all week, or all month, who can we have a student spotlight? And then I was emailed by Emily Gianni.
Yeah.
Yang. Okay. And she is gonna tell you what she did, and this is the epitome of an Eagle student, and so Emily, can you come up and tell everybody what you did, or try to sit in the middle there and?
Whatever, yeah. You stand or sit, whatever you're
Yeah.
comfortable with.
And just, if you're nervous, come to me. Go ahead.
Hi, I'm Emily.
A little louder if you can.
I'm a freshman at Taft, and I'm on the volleyball team. And this little girl that lives like a block down from my house has stage 4 cancer. And I found out that September was childhood cancer awareness month. So I made bows for my volleyball team, and we wear them for our cheerleaders.
Oh.
You also have a GoFundMe page, am I correct?
Not yet.
Not yet, but you're gonna have one.
We're trying to do something bigger.
Right. So how many bows have you sold so far, or you?
I just made them for my team, so 15. But I was thinking maybe that I can make them for JV and varsity as well.
That's beautiful. Anybody have any questions for her? Okay. Pardon me, Mom?
She was talking about maybe she could sell them a football game or something.
I was gonna say,
Yeah.
Mr. Scalera here
Right there.
can totally help you with that.
You have no idea how your sales are gonna go through the roof when you talk about it, okay?
You and I can do that. I'm more than happy to, if you like, to come to all the football games with your bows and sell them. I'd be more than happy to do that and help you support, help support the movement that cause as well. So maybe you, I'll give you my contact info and we can try to promote it that way. They're absolutely.
Emily, also talk to me this week, see me in the main office, and you and I will figure out somehow we can make a sign. We'll have Trent make a nice big sign so when people pass by, they can see bows for Maui, okay? You did wonderful. Let's hear it for him. Okay, go home, study. What time school starts tomorrow? Thank you, Emily. Thank you, Mom, for bringing her here. I appreciate it. Okay, good. All right.
Thank you.
All right, let's power through this real quick. Okay, so principal's report. In the summer, this last summer, we hired 31 teachers and 15 staff members. And kudos goes out to all of our department chairs that were helping us, and especially all of our APs. I mean, they worked overtime. Imagine 31 teachers, each of those probably had 20 resumes, each of them that they went through. So many first, second, third, fourth round interviews. So kudos to my APs, and we got great teachers here. As of today, we have 4,109 students. 4,109 students, 234 teachers, and 343 staff members. So there's the breakdown right there. I won't read all of them, but you can kind of see how every class is going to have roughly 1,000, a little more than 1,000 after next year. We're going to get rid of the, I don't mean it like that, but seniors will leave, and it's going to be replaced by 1,000. So every class is going to have a little over 1,000. I wanted to put on here, before we say anything, can we have, he was supposed to go home tonight, and we had Tommy, we need everybody to speak. Can we have a round of applause for Tommy?
Yes.
That was the work of 5 people. Also, I wanted to put on here, I'll put it on the bottom. Let's see, we held meetings with the Taft Safety Committee. I thought were very productive, and maybe they'll talk about it later, but I think it's really nice because we're all on the same page. We want safety for everybody. So we have a PPLC election. These are the 7 teachers that were elected by their peers: Mr. Angel, Mr. Cohen, Ms. Devine, Ms. Kaczmarek, Ms. Newton, Mr. Sperong, and Ms. Taylor. So we met yesterday, talked about some stuff. I've said it before, the last couple of years with the PPLC, they're bringing us great ideas, great recommendations, so I look forward to working with all of them. We hired a head basketball coach, Mr. Harris. We got him from Oak Park River Forest. He's been with the team, a really good coach. And we also hired a cheerleading coach today, Miss Eifert, who is on staff and is actually going to, we needed, all of our coaches are hopefully on staff if we can, but Miss Eifert is going to be a fine addition to our cheerleading team. Art teacher, our art department gets kudos. Ms. Cabral was recognized by the Illinois Art Education Association for her significant contributions to art, design, media, and education in Illinois. We stole her from another school. I'm very proud of that. So congratulations to the art department, Ms. Cabral. And we're partnering with Lurie Children's Hospitals for COVID testing on both campuses Thursday and Friday. I found that today it was only last Thursday and Friday. I thought it was going to be every week, but we do have other COVID testing that they're going to let us know for our staff and our students. Friday Night Lights football game. Some of you were here. We saluted our United States veterans. We sold 500 tickets in 47 seconds on the first night. It was a really good event. I think the highlight of it was the lights went out at 10 o'clock by accident, but I just happened to have queued up God Bless America, and everybody did their lights like that, and so it was kind of a good event that happened there. And we won. We beat a suburban school, a powerhouse suburban school. And then we had it last week where we saluted our first responders. We had the lieutenant over here from the firehouse. We also had Commander Brigade from the 16th district and some other dignitaries here, all the first responders. They got the coin flip. So that was a nice salute. We have in 2 weeks our alumni game. So that'll be big. I'm already getting plenty of alumni, which incidentally, I heard on a Facebook page. I don't have Facebook anymore, but I found out about an alumni picnic at Schiller Woods about 3 weeks ago. So I talked Tina into going there, and she's like, okay, we're gonna go for 5 minutes. She goes, yeah, you got like dog minutes. It's gonna be like, like an hour and a half. But there was about 1,500 Taft alumni from the years of like, and I think, I don't mean anything condescending, but it's like the forgotten years, like 82 to 2005. Because I've been telling Ann on the thing, I'm like, Ann, it seems to end like at 79.
That's why I'm trying to get them going.
Right, but I mean, there was 2,000 people. They were all wearing the different, like, I'm 88, 87 and stuff like that. So it was really, so we're gonna be with them, and so it was really interesting to see the lost generation of Taft Eagles out there. So I got the names of the movers and shakers here, so we're gonna do some more stuff with them. I'm a member of the Network 14 High School Principal Advisory Board. I actually do think they listen to us when we give them suggestions. Friday, October 15th is the homecoming game versus Whitney Young High School. Obviously, we have to win that game. We are planning right now, and I say this because everything's up in arms right now. We understand that. We were going to have homecoming on that Saturday at the White Eagle, but that got nixed. But right now, the plan is to have homecoming on the 16th of October on the football field with like a tent and a dance thing and a DJ. So I'm hoping, but I still have to wait for guidance. Okay, so, but I'm just going to say, hey, look at the Bears game and all these other people are together, and our kids deserve that. So hopefully we can do that. And then I have Thursday, November 18th, parent-teacher conferences. I'm excited about that because actually COVID kind of helped us out this. We're not going to have these long lines of teachers trying to see, or parents trying to see teachers. We're going to do a lot of stuff online, which is going to help our teachers. It's going to help our parents that can't get here during the daytime, and maybe they can sneak away at their desk for 15 minutes and have a meeting and schedule it. So I think that's really going to help us out. So that is all I have on that. Budget. I went over the budget in the budget meeting. We went over the SBB budget, the internal account budget, also the special income budget. I will give you these that we need approved because they're over $10,000. From Follett, I have, and it's on here for everybody. It's on the last page of your booklet here. Follett's AP psychology books, $11,075. More of our kids are taking AP. That's good. Newsla, $12,000. We talked about how that's a great software. Sweetwater, which is music instruments, that's for our piano lab. We are going to redo our entire piano lab, and it's going to be nice. I don't know what we're going to do with the old ones, but they need to be gone. We fixed the gym floor for $12,814. Long overdue. It really should be done every year, but it's been like 3 years now, so we had that done. Code HS, like I said in the budget meeting, I have no idea what that is. Eric, Jenny, do you know what Code HS is? No, I'm thinking it's a software online that the teachers ask for. I'll get clarification for the next meeting on that. Next one is social study books, and there's AP Human Geography. We needed a bunch of books on there, $31,000. So those are all the approvals. So before I go on, can we make a motion? You want to make a motion just to approve it?
Yes, I make a motion that we approve all of the budget transfers that Mr. Grishaber just suggested.
I'm sorry, we should have discussion.
Oh, right, well, I'm making the motion, then we'll have a discussion.
Okay.
I make a motion that we approve those budget transfers as just delineated. Anybody second?
Without the code HS, right, because we don't know if that's full. How can you approve something we don't know?
I would say trust me on this one. I don't want to wait another month.
Okay, well, if we have a second, then we can discuss it.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, now it's open for discussion.
Yeah.
Is there a way you can email us what it's for? Because we're voting.
I will. Yeah,
It's a lot of money.
I understand that. I see Jenny and Eric on their phones, they're doing something. You guys?
It's a school site license, so is that something we have to pay to the state or something? Like you have to pay?
Maybe certain websites, you have like doctors that can do it.
I just Googled it. Do we have a class in CTE that's doing coding? It says it's a coding platform.
Yeah, so it's a college board class, it's from the college board, and it's for, the use,
It's a requirement for exploring computer science.
Okay,
Oh, there we go.
okay, good. Thank you, Tim. I apologize, I don't have that for you. It slipped by me.
So we can't teach this course unless we have this license.
and I think it's also intended for the AP computer science.
Okay, so but for this license, we cannot teach the course.
Yes,
What you guys are saying?
that is correct.
Okay.
Okay, any other discussion?
Any other questions? Okay, then we are going to vote on the budget transfers as delineated on this sheet. If there's a general consensus, we'll just say, everybody's in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Anybody abstaining? Okay, so the motion carries.
Next one are really just internal account transfers to pay for, if you match them up on the one on top, basically, they pay for all of them. So that's your transfers to pay for all of those.
We make a motion to approve those transfers on the second half of the page.
I'll second the motion.
Okay, does anybody have any questions about that? Any comments? Okay, so then we are going to vote on the budget transfers on the second half of the page. All those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstaining? So the motion carries. What else we got?
That's it.
Oh, that's it?
Uh-huh.
Okay, so we're going to move to the CIWP report from AP Flores and AP Greenblatt. And just because, and I know this is a long night and I apologize, but because it's the beginning, if every committee could just give a real short summary of what they're doing so we are all clear, and then everybody else who's viewing and in the recording can understand what we're doing.
So I think AP Flores gave everybody a quick handout so that you can see it. We just wanted to share, we started this last year where we start all of our staff meetings because they all now have a virtual element with what we call the blue clover to really just keep everything focused on our CIWP priorities and the emphases for the year. So I'm not going to read it all to you, but when we were thinking about reopening for the first time in quite a while, we wanted to focus on three things: a safe and healthy return to school, instructional consistency with classroom experiences for students, and coherent and robust school-wide supports. And all of those are underneath the CIWP.
Yeah, so the next slide is just a real quick reminder for the staff and families of consistency. The vision that we are one school, two campuses.
And then Tom, you can go to the next one. So our four CIWP priorities are MCSS with an academic focus, instruction, curriculum, and student voice. So these updates really focus on the planning that went in during the semester. So MCSS, our house structure is up and running. Both our 9th and 10th grade houses have met already once, if not twice. AP Slow Activity has had a house lead retreat for 3 days in the summer where the house leads really mapped out their priorities and agenda for the whole year. And then the programming of the students in the house was much cleaner this year. So if you don't know, all of our 9th and 10th graders are in groups of approximately 150 within house. They share the same 4 teachers. At the Freshman Academy, that is their Language, INS, Science, Math, and their world language. We were also able to make sure that the diverse learner teachers lined up, so all of those teachers share the same groups of students and are able to meet weekly to talk about student supports. That is replicated our 10th grade, and that those students are in groups with their 4th floor, since they have more elective options, but they are in groups of about 30 for the same language, INS, Math, and Science teacher. It's also made it much easier to contact trace when students travel together for at least half of their day. That's really for student support
course, and so far that's going well. For instruction, underneath that promoting instructional consistency within the classroom experience, we're looking at ID-aligned instruction. We are not Google school, culturally relevant curriculum and instruction, and then coherent and inclusive social emotional learning. So we just started the third week of school. What's been amazing as we walk around and look in classrooms is that every single classroom has created this really warm, positive, welcoming environment as we know students are coming back in all different levels of readiness to be back in person with the classroom. So it's been really fantastic with lighting and music and just getting to know each other, students getting to know each other. So that has been really positive, and I think that's really getting
Yeah, so real quick update on curriculum. We developed a planning structure, so all the department chairs and the core team leads within that department all have the same period off. So we talk about vertical planning, what are we looking at from freshman year through senior year, especially in the core classes. Now department chairs and leads have that time throughout the day, throughout the entire school year to plan and to get our vertical planning, our vertical plan up and running. So that's something that we're looking forward to this year. Plan for student voice, all clubs having a green light to go ahead and engage in person, so that is up and running. And 8 to 11 clubs are working on that. The other thing about student voice is student voice, civic engagement, and engagement and civic life. So part of the civic life part is teaching politics, just plain and simple. So this year we're offering 21 sections of AP Gov. That's mainly at the freshman level and at the junior level as well. Any junior that's not in AP Gov is currently enrolled in civics. So that's a really big increase in the AP Gov offering for us. And that is the report for September. I will just say, we're looking forward to continuing to give you updates, and especially when it comes to most likely the winter, sometime in January, when we start the process of rewriting our state everything for the next 2 years. So anyone that's interested, ask more questions.
Thank you. Does anybody have any questions or comments?
Jenny, question about the 11th graders. This is our class they were the first class at the freshman academy. Then they had to go remote, and then they were off a year. So their sophomore year, they should have been here, but they weren't. And now this is their first year as juniors, as 11th graders, to be here. And they were the first house pilot class. Are they still in houses? Or what are we doing for our 11th graders?
Yeah, no, they're not.
I feel like they kind of got the shit.
But they were last year, so even though it was virtual, they still had, like, their teachers were still meeting. Juniors get a lot of support around SAT, and so what we did find though is that our juniors signed up for more rigorous classes at like significantly more than they ever had. So we're just really excited to see that, but also supporting teachers and that allow these students to find a rigorous class at the time, and so kind of easing into making sure that we're supporting them. But there's too many electives to group them.
Yeah. So is that going to be the plan though moving forward, that once students hit 11th grade, we're done with the houses?
They kind of like naturally go on. So like, for example, any student that's an IB diploma, they all have the same lunch period and they get support from diploma teachers. So, that kind of, that is the way that they're not necessarily houses, but are all in programs. So they're in IB diploma, or they may go into IB they may be added, we added senior seminar, so that any student that's not already attached to a program can get that senior. Junior year, the commonality really is in the civics class. So there's not really enough things that they have in common to be able to group them in something like that.
So the house is basically just as the freshman academy for the freshman class.
So it's
No.
7th, 9th, it's 7th, 8th, 9th, and then 10th year.
And it stops junior year, because they're kind of immersed in it.
Yeah, because there's so many options for their electives and advanced classes.
And there's fewer CPS graduation requirements, so they all take it. So, the freshman sophomore year is all of the core, but the junior year it gets a little.
And have you guys measured quantifiably the effectiveness of these houses with these kids? Like, if we've done surveys and asked them, like, probing, I mean, did they find it beneficial, was it effective? Did they even know they were in a house? Have we ever surveyed them?
We have not surveyed that, but from the first group of freshmen during juniors, we did their houses because we have housing on a regular basis, up until those were monthly meetings, so they all met, because they all had the same PE class. So that was intentional, that those would be in a place where we're all in one spot, and kind of once a month they would have those meetings. So obviously during the pandemic, that was one part of the last year, and for sophomores. We have not surveyed this yet, but I'll tell you the data that we have is our freshman traffic going from about 88% to
96.
96%.
Our sophomore track also went up, and like Ms. Greenblatt said, kids are taking their educational vegetables. They're higher up classes now. We don't have club med schedules.
Where do we rank with other high schools is doing this house structure?
No one's doing it.
Okay, so that's kind of where I'm going is data, right? Like this is a big thing, what you guys are doing. I mean, this should be, there should be like a white paper or something. There should be a study on this. So it's just, I think the more data we have on this house concept, because it's like, well, why are you doing it? So I think, and you just started, and of course COVID hit, so that.
Yeah, that's gonna mess up numbers.
That is a plan. We have given a kind of mini presentation about this to other CPS administrators who some ago. So we are tracking this. We are trying to, just everything else, kind of see the bigger picture, see how we compare what we're doing.
It just would be interesting to get the students' feedback, because you can measure it in different ways, but just from a social perspective. Anyway, it's great work, and I just think you guys should be celebrated for the work that you're doing. If we're the only high school doing it, we need to shout on how great the work you guys are doing.
You guys have a little section on the website?
I think you do the freshman.
Okay. So there is a place for information and for letting people know about.
I think we have good experience with cohorts, right? Like at Taft, we've had an academic center for so long, so we have experience with like guiding students in cohorts, and our IB diploma program we've had for some time. So I think it's something that we do have like some good experience with, like prior to the house structure.
And evidently, it's making our kids stronger, and this junior class is taking more challenging courses that other, levels weren't taking.
And Bridget, you're in a house, right?
Yes.
And you can speak.
Well,
as a teacher.
yes, I'm an arts teacher, so mine doesn't work like as cleanly, but.
And you have the ears of the teachers. They like the house system.
I think it's good to be able to, it's like when you're focused on student supports, if it's several rather than one person trying to solve a problem or work through something alone, if they're like working with other teachers.
Now, I've been contacted by other high schools, and they're trying to pick our brains. I'm like, well,
We're pulling this off like the city's largest neighborhood school, and we're doing something that nobody else. It's extraordinary.
Yeah.
I just
because of that.
celebrate it.
Because don't look at me, look at them.
Great work.
I don't know if anybody else has any questions for them, but I have a couple of questions, and I'm not sure if you can answer them. One is, I think that's amazing, and I'm so glad to hear about the vertical planning, because I think that obviously that makes a lot of sense, to coordinate that. I question, because I know we do have a lot of rigorous coursework. Do you have, you may already have this, you're just not talking about it, horizontal planning, so like if everybody's not having a big project due on the same day, those kinds of things.
Yeah, that's a great question. I think that is part of like the house structure as well. Right? So like that common calendaring conversation that happen at the house level, that they do see like with real new projects, what's coming up, and they can plan accordingly within the house, so it gets back to just that. That's a huge advantage. Same thing to a certain extent with the diploma and other programs that have like that a larger group of teachers that can kind of map those things out. I know our
Okay.
I just got a text that that's what they did in the house meeting today. Is
Oh,
they were calendaring out
excellent.
their assessments.
Excellent, because that will really help our students as well. So that's, thank you for answering that. Do you, as you brought up the SAT, do you have SAT dates, and do we do PSAT for, I mean, everything got screwy, so I just want to understand, what dates and which grade levels are able to participate?
Yes, so I actually submitted the order for the PSAT for the fall today. So our juniors will be taking the PSAT and MSAT, which is the National Merit Scholarship Qualifying Test, on the primary date of October 13th. Our sophomores will be taking that on the alternate date, which is October 28th. And then our freshmen will be taking the PSAT 8-9 on October 20th.
Okay, excellent. And then, just because there are 3 of us who are new to Taft LSC, is there a place online or somewhere, I know you guys are going to be reevaluating your CIWP, is there a place for us to be able to view the CIWP, because we're, it's part of what we're working on and how we're voting, just so we have an understanding of the Taft. Okay, it may be, I just haven't, that's actually something I haven't looked for, but in putting all this together, I was thinking we should.
I'll definitely drop the PDF of it and folder that you shared with you.
Okay. Okay, so if you guys didn't hear that, our folder in our Google Drive, he's going to drop the PDF in there for us. Thank you so much for that report. Okay, so we're going to move on to the chair report. I really just want to kind of go over, I included, and it should be in your packet, the LSC calendar, because we do have some notable things that we have to do this year, one of which is the 4-year evaluation of Principal G. And because, Taft is such a large school and we have a lot of stuff to work with, I wanted to know, because I haven't had to participate in this large of a review before, if maybe people who have either been on here before or have been involved with reviews of principal, 4-year reviews of principals, if there are maybe a couple of people who would like to be on a committee to help organize the information, to kind of give us a baseline, like somewhere to start. If there's, and nobody has to volunteer tonight, we can also do this over email, but I don't know what you guys think. I think it's probably a good idea because we're so big to have a couple of people. We do have
There isn't, or dates.
Oh, date, so there's a LSC calendar in general. It's just the general LSC calendar. And it gives dates for when that has to be done by, which is February 1st. We have to have the evaluation done by February 1st. Oh, it's not in the packet? Oh, I'm sorry. It is in the Google Drive.
Okay.
And of course it is in the LSC resource guide. But we do have to have that done by February 1st. I think the sooner we can get it done, the better. We don't want to drag, maybe we can get it done before winter break. I don't know.
And this is a contract year.
Yes, this is a contract year. This is the 4th year. So I think, because if we run into questions or want to find more information or just the way we want to organize it, I would like to kind of get that in motion. And if nobody wants to volunteer, that's fine. We can kind of go over like an email. We can discuss it. And so at the next meeting, maybe we can have something started and some things put together. The other thing we're going to do is we had that kind of everything screwy with the pandemic. This spring, we are also having our LSC vote again, our LSC members. So that's happening this spring, just so you're aware. That will be in April, I believe. That's in April. Is it the report card pickup?
Yeah.
So I just wanted you guys to kind of see this, and again, it's in the Google Drive. I'm sorry, it's not packet. Just so you can see all the things, we have a lot of additional stuff to do according to the LSC calendar, and I am trying to, I didn't do it yet, I wanted to kind of make a specific Taft LSC calendar for us, because like I said, this isn't just an evaluation year, it's a 4-year evaluation year. And let me see if there was anything else. Apologize, there might have been one other thing. Oh, sorry. So I did speak to Mr. Garcia. We are supposed to every year do a statement of economic interest. I don't think they've sent that out since 2018. I asked Mr. Garcia, can I just take my form and put 2021? And we can have everybody sign it, and he said, no, they're working on it, they'll send it to us, nobody's out of compliance, we're fine. Because I think if you don't do it by 7 days after you join, you're in trouble. The other thing is, I believe, as we are, I don't know if anybody else needs to do it, when the last time you did your training modules, but our 3 new members will need to do training modules. That is not working online, and Mr. Garcia, again, will give us the information of how to proceed. It may take a while, but we are not out of compliance with that as well, and so I'll just keep you up to date with that. Okay, any questions on any of that for me? Okay, so we will move to the committee chair reports. So our first report is Budget Committee, Mr. Sclera.
Yes. So we did meet earlier today and we did go through some of the agenda items that Mr. Shaver did present. There were no issues, and we did discuss discuss potential future activities, and all agree that we're all on the same page. I invite them all. 4:30 is the next. Well, actually, it's October 12th at 4:30, if everyone's interested in attending the budget committee, that's the next time. Will be 5:30, I'm sorry. Facilities is 4:30, never mind. So 5:30 on October 12th, be more than happy to have you all in attendance to go through that, so. Nothing further on that.
Thanks, Mike.
Thank you. Okay, so we will move to the Professional Personnel Leadership Committee with Ms. Doherty and Mr. Plensner.
PPLC just had an election last week. I want to thank Mr. Grishaber for helping us conduct it and get that right. I was very happy to see the people who volunteered, even the people who didn't win the election. I was so glad to see all the support. We did meet yesterday, September 13th, because of that election. We discussed a lot of issues. We made some recommendations to the principal. I'd like to, mostly because Tommy's here, say that we had a very successful rollout of the Chromebook cards. Your students in the classrooms have access to the internet. It's very well done, and it's really making an impact on the classrooms. I thank the LSC for continuing to support that initiative. Number 2, we did ask Mr. Grishaber for more teacher-led professional development. We got a lot of experts on staff, and he agreed that that sounds like a good idea. Number 3, we discussed how to get a substitute teacher. Very intricate stuff. If you have questions, ask me later. And number 4, which I think was the most interesting part of the meeting for sure, was we discussed the creation of a fair and equitable grading policy at TCT and house levels, and to rethink that, to think about it as teacher collaborative groups, put it all together, put our experience together, and come up with some different ideas that will promote rigor and fairness. I want to say that your opinion on any issue happening in the classroom, as parents, students, and community members, is very much valued by us teachers and by the PPLC. And I'm always here to answer any questions you have, including at this moment and later and ever. And thank you, LSC, for your support for your teachers. That's okay.
Thank you. Okay, so we're moving on to the Facilities Committee report. Mr. Sclera and Ms. Raguso.
We met today at 4:30. As always, we started off with the Freshman Academy. Good news, Wi-Fi issues have been resolved. Ms. Trebbing?
Yes.
I go to you for this because you're there. The biggest issue that we need to address and try to help solve is parking. And it's going to take a minute because it's not a pressing issue with CPS, but it is for our teachers, it's for the families who want to come park there. But otherwise, the other thing is the contractor list, punch list, there's still items that aren't resolved. So Mr. Levin said he was going to revisit that and try to button that up this year so we can close that out. At the varsity campus, we are having issues. It's much better now, but we have 8 condensers on the roof, and one of them is blown, so that's why it's super hot in the cafeteria and this kind of bank of the building's infrastructure. allegedly the compressor's in. It's a big to-do because you gotta get a crane to schlep it on the roof, and then you gotta get the labor to come in. So hopefully that'll do the trick, but we're, continue to hold our breath on the other 7 compressors because they're aged and ready to, I'll just be quiet. Let's get this guy fixed so we can get the building cooled down. We are in desperate need of 4 custodial workers. We're down 4 full-time custodial workers, 2 for the day, 2 for the night. That means added stress to our custodians who are here, who are doing the best job they can possibly do. The LSC is committed to, Kat's going to give us the name of the people we can call at Aramark, and the LSC is going to make the calls and lobby to get these 4 additional workers, which we need. COVID put a lot of things, on the back burner. We continue to monitor those projects that we were full speed ahead with. One is the custodial office, and then Mr. G's plaque has been pushed back till November. They got to pull in some electric to the plaque. And then one of the biggest opportunities that we see, there's so much buzz around the field. Mike is actually spearheading the, what do you call yourself? Not the boosters. What's the? It's the boosters. I mean, it's extraordinary the amount of, we have room for 1,200 seats. There's 4,000 students. The alumni is so revved up and wants to be a part of this. So we see a tremendous opportunity in getting movable bleachers soon so that we can accommodate more folks on the field. We appreciate the space constraints. We don't want to impede onto the baseball field, but this is a no-brainer, so we have to figure out how to get the funds so we can purchase these movable bleachers that actually can support the other fields, the girls softball diamond and the baseball. Other than that, you can see the work that's been done in the forum. The library looks incredible. Our goal is to get that black box, but for now, the space is really nice for the students. So, did I miss anything, Mr. Chairman? That concludes the facilities report.
Can I just ask a question, and you might know the answer to this? I realize we're down so many custodians. How are we doing with keeping everything? I don't know what our rules are for keeping things clean.
They're doing it, but they're struggling.
That's so must be really difficult for the people.
So
who are
Mr.
here.
Levins told the story at the facilities committee. One of our gals was working so intensely, her arms were starting to swell, and she was about to go into the bathroom and clean another, and Mr. Levin saw her, and she's like, "What are you doing?" And she's like, "I gotta get this done." She's like, "You gotta go home."
Yeah.
So we're almost at a breaking point. So,
yeah.
As I mentioned, Mr. Levins is going to email all us the Aramark contact people.
Yeah.
And we committed as an LSC that each of us will call them and say, what are you doing to get us these 4 essential workers in our school, so we don't lose the staff that we already have, because they're burning the midnight oil.
Right. Okay. Thank you. Sorry, anybody have any questions or comments? Okay, we are going to move on to the safety and security meeting, which is would be Ms. McDormand, who is, are you here, Ms. McDormand, online? Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, geez, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm thinking of the person who runs it. I'm sorry. What time is it?
The safety and security, we met today at 3 China. Our meetings are still virtual as of now. Right now, we're trying to hire new security officers. There are some delays due to the central office. So processing is being delayed. 2 new security officers were started this week. We have 10 full-time at the varsity campus, 6 full-time at the freshman academy, and we have 1 part-time at the varsity that was worked during evenings due to a lot of activity going on. Drills, our first fire drill needs to be done by October 1st. Hopefully they can get it done in the next week or 2. We just have to put Going on to student misconducts, there were too many issues, thankfully, in the first 2 weeks. 2 days going in. Most of it was vaping issues, nicotine and some THC, and some fighting. There were maybe 3 fights, About 9 students, nothing major, they're taken care of. There is, working on restorative with the kids with the vaping. Parents are notified, they confiscate all the vaping items, like for the essays, so working on restorative with the kids. Same goes for, I believe it was, and Mark, you might be able to, for, it's in school, 1 day in school suspension for the GMT and fighting also, or no?
Usually.
Usually, okay.
And they have a letter to write.
Right, they have a reflection assignment, there's a parent conference, and working on.
It actually works.
Yeah. But it's working good, trying to get the kids, let them know how dangerous vaping is. And then the one, kind of hot topic right now is just the traffic in the morning and after school pickup. Mr. Brishotter's been very good at getting communication out there to the parents about, drop them off a block before the school, they don't need door-to-door service. It's still kind of crazy, we want to make sure it's safety for the kids. So trying to work out that it is still early, just until 3rd week of school, and the seniors are the only ones that have been on this campus before, so I think it's still new for a lot of parents trying to figure out getting parts of it. And I know freshmen still having some issues travel. So
that's an issue here as well.
Yeah, that's what I said. It's an issue also
okay.
at varsity campus.
Yeah.
It's a lot, and I only witnessed it one day when I did a drop off. I normally don't do varsity bus. It's just people need to drop and go or drop before. It's just it's so congested. People are double parking and not moving. So
okay.
You want to make sure nobody gets into your head or something. Anyway, that's pretty much it. Just kind of on a side note, really quick. I guess there was notified that there was a lot of garbage left on the football field after the game.
Do we have a lot of receptacles?
There is garbage. They said there was a lot of garbage around the campus and stands, and then there was a lot of Kona ice cups that were there a week later that were picked up by volunteers.
So what, after all of the home games are done, and the kids are all gone, the coaches and I physically walk the stands and pick up all the garbage.
Okay.
So I'm sitting there.
Wow.
After a whole day.
Yeah.
The Coach Elder and all the coaches, we literally walk the stands and pick up all the garbage. Now, I told them that I would have to, I don't want to pick them up with my hands anymore. I want to get brooms. But it would be nice if we could have someone do that, because, not that you all have to hear, I'm exhausted after a day. And the last thing I want to do is pick up garbage, and that's, I get it, and that's what we're doing.
My softball team, my sophomore football team let me down that night. They didn't get tickets, and so I said, listen, I'm gonna let you all in. You're gonna sit by the north end zone over there and be your own, but then after the game, I expect you to walk and clean.
Oh.
And they didn't. They went right into the stands with everybody else, so I'm gonna have a little talk with them tomorrow.
Is there any way to make an announcement at the beginning of the game?
Well, what happened though is we have custodians that come in at 5:45 in the morning.
Okay.
And they clean the entire stands. So on that Saturday, because on Sundays, Oriole Park uses our stadium.
Okay.
And so everything was cleaned out that day.
Okay.
Matt,
Okay, is there
Kessler
some,
raising his hand.
Matt? Oh, you wanna wait?
No, Mr. G, I was just gonna chime in with what you just said, that we had the custodians there at 5:45 in the morning on Sunday.
Yeah, I know, because I undid the alarm.
I don't know if it would help to announce before games, and also just, I don't know how many receptacles there are, and I don't know if we have recycling. I don't even know if we do recycling on the campus, but to have places, and to mention, we are in a global pandemic, maybe pick up after yourself.
Yeah, we're learning. This is our third Friday night light, so we're gonna get better and better.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, that's it? Okay. Anybody have any questions or comments? Okay, we're gonna move on to the student report. Ms. Mano, are you still with us?
Yes, hello. All right. The vast majority of students are very happy to be back doing in-person schooling, of course, because it's easier for students to connect with their peers, and having a real classroom environment to participate in has raised morale and made learning more enjoyable and accessible for everyone. However, underneath this, I think that many students hold a lot of skepticism towards the viability of in-person learning in the long term. As we see more reported cases every day in our emails, everyone half jokes about when the school is going to be closing down again as we get shut out and sent back to our computers at home. And it only feels more likely as we crowd some areas of the school, such as nearby the staircase connecting the new and the old building, and we're literally pressed shoulder to shoulder and we're squeezed through the hallways. And I think for many students, it just feels like a ticking time bomb, especially as variant cases are starting to skyrocket. And hopefully we will be able to continue learning in person for the entire school year, and concerns will eventually dissipate as more people get vaccinated and the school continues to manage potential cases through contact tracing and quarantining. But I just wanted to communicate that concern that a lot of students have to the LSC. Thank you.
Thank you. Does anybody have any questions or comments on that?
I'm just wondering, is there specific ways or sides that the students are like walking on when they're going through the umbilical or up and down? I mean, I know it's hard because they're teenagers, but is there a plan for them to be moving?
It's 1,000% better than it was the first time. Like I told you, 2,200 people entered this building and thought the only way from both buildings was the second floor umbilical. And they were both going on both sides. So it's like two garden hoses going at each other. So now we have them going on both sides. So it's better than it was, but kids are still going to be shoulder to shoulder, and it's always going to be that. So that's getting better. Lunchrooms are getting better. Kudos to our APs who were here on Sunday night until 10 o'clock at night, because we had a case in a lunchroom where we almost had to shut down 1,000 kids because we didn't do it. But they were here and they identified the kid on the lunchroom. We called them and it was only like 5 kids that had to stay home. So kudos to Eric because he was here at 9:30. So contact tracing is working a lot. But again, I think, like I tell everybody, the best thing to do, and I think people are learning it, is to get the kids vaccinated. Because if you're vaccinated, it's real easy. Because right now there's kind of like a lag time. What happens is if I'm sitting next to Miss Davila, I get flagged, you're staying home. And sometimes it takes 24 hours for me to find out, like, no, I'm vaccinated. I should be going to school. Well, you've just wasted a day. So CPS is working on marrying those two lists together to where they can just say, no, Mark's vaccinated, Bridget's vaccinated, Scott's vaccinated. You don't have to do it. So it's like putting the plane together when it's flying right now. So it is getting better.
Yeah. So Mark, I got a really quick
Yeah,
question.
go ahead.
Because it said if you're vaccinated, it could take a day or so, but if you've already uploaded their forms like a week ago, 2 weeks ago, is it not?
They're not talking to you.
Yeah.
Eric, go ahead.
Yeah, so there's a bit of a lag between what they have to provide the school. But there are certain, like I did see one parent report in response that said, we were identified as a close contact, however, we see in the system that you are vaccinated, so you're clear to go. So that student never even got the letter that said they had to quarantine for 14 days because it was already approved. So we're working as fast as we possibly can, and I think all the vaccination cards we have are one nurse is the only do it, but we're working with central office of the network. Super supportive of trying to get that process sped up.
So the form and downloading of my senior's card, that goes to our nurse, and our nurse in the school is downloading it to the contact tracing?
But it's one nurse, and we have 800 forms, and we told them, I said, I'll do it. No, only the nurse can do it. And we're like, this is ridiculous, what can we do? So finally, Dr. Lamone, our network chief, said, you know what? We're gonna take care of this. We faxed them all and they sent them downtown and they're doing them for us. Because we're like, this is gonna take 4 weeks for one nurse. So they get it. You know, this is new for all of us here. So we're working on it. We're trying right now, we've made the suggestion to Dr. Lamone to get our own contact tracer on campus here. Not that she's only dedicated or he's dedicated to Taft, but work out here because if we're the largest school, chances are us and Lane are probably going to have the most, like the news service. Yeah, no doubt we have the most. We both have 4,000 kids. But if we had one here, it's a lot easier to where they can contact the kid, walk to the room, have them brought there, and it's going to be a lot easier. So she's going to work on that. She thinks that's an excellent idea. Don't know if it'll work, but it'd be nice if we had our own contact tracer here. Just working out of our building. You don't have to go downtown, Scott.
I understand that there's 24 contact tracers at CPS right now.
Don't know that.
You don't know that?
I wouldn't doubt
I
it,
heard a
but
rumor about that.
yeah, I don't know.
another question that kind of falls in with what Amelia said and stuff like that, and I see that our student left, regarding concerns and stuff like that for lunch, is that going to?
Lunch is getting better. What happened was at Freshman Academy, it was shoulder to shoulder. And we said, we can't do this. I mean, so what we did was we opened up the courtyard for it. And the joke was like, this is the picture that they gave us when they were showing us the pictures of Freshman Academy. Everybody outside sitting around, it was great. Kids are playing Frisbee out there. Probably not sustainable because we know we got rain, we got snow, we got cold weather. So we're gonna probably put them out in the hallway where we have a security guard right there, and just we're looking to get some high tops for them so they can sit out there and kind of expand it. Freshman Academy, or varsity is a little bit different. We've opened up the library. We used to be the library. We're kind of calling it the Commons right now. So anybody that wants to come down to the Commons can come down there. We are working. I haven't talked to Mr. Levins, but I understand the fact that they can't get hot lunches and come down. And a lot of kids are like, I don't like that lunch anyway. It doesn't matter. I'm bringing my own. But I'm trying to work with the lunchroom to say, listen, give me 75 bag lunches and we can bring down. If the kids want them, great, they can take them. If not, then you'll know tomorrow to only bring 50 because that's all they want. So we're working on something like that. But the kids are finding their own niches in there. So it's starting to spread out. Kids are not, our kids, if you go in there, most of the kids have their masks on when they're not eating. They do. Some don't, but, they're kids. So.
Varsity campus courtyard possibilities?
Possibility, it is a possibility. But right now, my hands are tied because I don't have security guards. If I have security guards, I've always said I want the quad opened, where the door 9 and door 1 is right there, and it's a beautiful little area. I would like the kids to be able to go out there. I'm not sold right now. I know we have a student here who wants to go outside for lunch.
Yeah.
Not sold on that just yet because there's nowhere to go. We're going to send 400 kids to Brandy's and over here to Best. It's not going to work.
We're going to go to Eli's.
Well, the difference is at Whitney Young, it was a lot better because we were in like a high rises, and I don't need kids vaping in someone's alley back there. So there is that thing. I don't have that.
Well, I know. I was the first freshman class of the closed campus of Taft. Right here.
So you started off.
Oh, I did not start at all.
Well,
the
there's
group before me did.
Yeah.
But
I am
just
for
the courtyard. If a security guard loosens up and kids can
I am
step
totally,
outside the building and not just.
our kids are good. I am all for opening the doors and just. And if we need somebody on the roof just looking and just, having them play Frisbee, I'm all for that.
Yeah, my kid doesn't need to go to Brady, she can sit in the courtyard.
I do want to say that the courtyard is something I would second guess because of how many classroom spaces. And it could be very loud in there, even when somebody brings their class out there.
I got you. So the option is door 4.
Interrupting like 20 classes.
Yeah.
Okay.
The option is door 4. I get it too.
Yeah.
But we also have a security guard. Yeah, I'm open for all suggestions.
Okay. Okay, any other questions or comments regarding the student report?
For the congestion, we have to keep in mind that half of the junior class has never been in this building.
Yeah, or sophomore.
I'm getting there.
Okay.
Then you have the sophomore class, which is usually now the new first class, and those who aren't, either in sports or academic clubs or any other type of club, they're not in this building. So now you have 2/3 of the entire varsity campus population who's never been in this building before. So of course there's going to be chaos. Right? So they can navigate their way and know that they can go take the car stairwell instead of.
Right.
My kid was like faced against, so she couldn't get through because kids were just literally standing there because they're looking around going, we don't know how to move.
Right. And that's the picture that was on all.
That was my daughter.
And
I want to remind you, that's the picture that was on all the blogs, but that's the picture that's been on all the blogs every year I've been here.
That's why I'm trying to put this in context, is that you now have 2 classes.
Right.
Very large classes. Who've never stepped foot in this building. And normally, we do a little like welcome to Taft so they can find their way to their classes before school actually starts. We didn't have that with COVID, so everyone really needs to keep that in mind. So when you see those pictures, which we've all seen, and you're aghast, and it's deplorable, but it is because of the situation that we face. It'll get better once they figure out how to navigate those spaces. Yes.
Let me remind you where we're at in this neighborhood, and people that aren't going to public school like to kind of put that, look at this over there, I'm glad I don't go there. That's why I'm paying $15,000.
Take a picture in a month at the same time.
I got you.
At the same period transfer, it's gonna be a lot different.
I know, it always is.
Okay, I don't have it on here and I don't know, I mean, I can just download this and I'm sorry if people want to also help me make sure, like the student spotlight, make sure that I have the agenda, in good form. I did have the arts report, sent to me earlier, today. And it's just one page. And I will include it next time and I will make sure that it gets put into the drive. But, it's just really short, so I'm gonna say this. It's drama, IB Theater Arts, and HL and SL scores beat the world average for the third consecutive year. And all students who completed the assessments earned passing score, also for the third straight year. Most impressively, all students who took the higher level version of the course earned 7s, the highest possible score. That's amazing. Taft alumni Georgia Cazo was recently cast in the lead role of Catherine in The Taming of the Shrew at Marquette University, where she is double majoring in theater and speech pathology. Motorman, directed by Mr. Nadig and written by Mr. Nadig, and a team of students is in rehearsal and will be opening on schedule, either in person or virtually, as conditions allow. That is from 10/26 to 10/29. Music and drama, altogether now is cast, 38 students in the cast, each featured in at least 5 songs. We are excited about all the new young talent. Performance dates 11/12 to 11/14. Visual arts, we have a new ceramics course and 4 new pottery wheels, which is fun, so students can experience wheel throwing. We have 2 art teachers pursuing the National Board certification currently in the department. One of our newest art teachers, I think this is going to be what you said, this is Anna Maria Cabral, has been recently recognized by the Illinois Art Education Association for significant contributions to art design and media education in Illinois. And there you go.
Mr. Cohen is here.
Jonathan, when is the Simpsons play? What is that one?
Mr. Burns is gonna go up in February, that's our winter show.
Okay, very good.
Okay. I will include you on the agenda for the next meeting. Sorry, I didn't know that.
I didn't know if it was being continued or not, so I just sent it just in case, I don't.
No problem.
I'm not a member, I just attend.
I think it's fantastic.
No, I think we need to hear these things because most places don't highlight these kinds of things at their school. I think it's important for us to know. Okie doke, so now we are moving to our Friends of Taft report. Ms. Bernacki.
I do not have a report from the PTSA, but there was some sad news. Their vice president, who was Lisa Marie Peabody from last year, she passed away suddenly. I don't know what happened or anything, so that's really, really sad. She has a son who's a junior, I believe. So terrible news. And then moving on to the Alumni Association, Ms. Lundy, who is the president, sent me a report, and Mary Beth Kelly, are you here? Okay, so she wanted me to introduce you to everybody, and she's the new reporting secretary. Obviously, you graduated from Taft. What year did you graduate? Sorry, I must want to say that. That's okay. Welcome. Nice to meet you. Mr. G.
I've met.
Okay. Also, their newsletter editor is suggesting a link to the faculty who may want to read the newsletter, so the varsity and freshman buildings can see it. It might be a problem in the summer, but she suggests maybe we could put a link up there for the newsletter. She also sent information to the veterans for the football Friday night game, to the ones that she had contact information for. She just asks if we can let her know a little sooner about the games and such. And then finally, Harold Roberts, who was one of Taft's LSC's first reps, 1989 to 91, passed away. He taught math at Taft for 20 years. He was well liked by students and his peers. So that was from Ann Lundy. And that's all I have.
Just a quick kudo to the PTSA. They did buy all of our teachers and staff lunch our first week here, which was about $5,000, and they also bought the staff donuts too, which was about $400. So I want to give them a kudo for doing that.
Nice, very nice. Does anybody have any questions or comments?
How do we find a way, because what I'm seeing now, there's a lot of different discombobulated sources of social media. How do we find a way? And I don't know if that's an answer that we could, talk to today or for future reference. How do we find a way of putting everything together?
I got a plan for that.
Because I've got the same thing, a lot of alumni would like to come to a game about it, and would like to find a way of supporting, but they don't even know how. And I hear that there's an alumni group, there's the PTSA, there's this, there's that. I have, I have no idea.
Mike, real quick, I'll just, because I know we're stretched for time, but at Whitney Young, we aligned them all. So basically what you do is your alumni association is your communication piece. So it's like a big wheel. Your PTSA is going to be your piece that deals with everybody that's involved in the school right now. Your alumni association, like I said, is your communication piece. The PTSA is going to be changing their role, and they're going to become Friends of Taft. And the Friends of Taft are the big money people. They're the people that go after people and say, listen, you're getting older, think about putting us in your will, and we've got these capital projects. Those are the people that should be raising this school probably close to $1 million a year. So once we get that structure, you got the communication going, you got the friends, you got the booster clubs, they're all talking to each other, and we meet on a monthly basis. So that's our plan. We just got to wait for the PTSA to get incorporated to become the Friends of Taft.
There's usually an athletic report too.
Oh.
You can just put on the agenda.
Okay. I just, yeah.
Report. You could be on that. Well, I don't know about that. This is for Mr. Kessler. Mr. Kessler. We are excited about the return of fall sports in a more normal capacity. We have approximately 600 students participating across 12 different sports that include, for the first time ever, girls flag football. They won their first game against Amundsen, 32-0. Every year. We've also
I didn't even know we had, but that must have just started for us too. No idea.
We've also seen the successful return of Friday Night Lights, where the Eagles have gone undefeated at home while honoring veterans and first responders. We're also welcoming many of our surrounding elementary school students and future Eagles in the building this fall as we host the CPS SCORE Volleyball League on Saturdays and Oriole Park football home games on Sundays. Come to Taft any day of the week and you'll see our fields and gyms full of students spending their time productively, competing, learning, and having fun. Go Eagles. Matt Kessler, Director of Athletics and Student Activities.
Good job, Matt.
Okay, so those are all of our committees. Next month, I will have arts and athletic report on the agenda. And make sure I invite those people to come speak. Sorry, nice to meet you. I didn't know you were here. I'm sorry, I would have let you give your report. And thanks for providing that. Okay, so old business, we've already taken care of the Pledge of Allegiance vote. Is there any other old business that anybody has? I don't think. Yes.
On the agenda, it says that the December, February, March are to be determined. Didn't we map that all out at the organization?
No, we just did the first three.
That was location, was to be determined.
Yes, this is the location to be determined. So we had determined our first three meetings and we were going to switch between the varsity and the freshmen.
2 and 1.
Yes, 2 and 1. And so.
And I remember it was because we didn't know how far into the school year we actually were gonna get with this global pandemic. So we
And
thought we
so
would
just to
revise
be
it
clear,
that time.
April, May, and June, virtual is just.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Yeah, that is,
That's okay, I wanted.
I didn't even realize. Thanks for pointing.
Yeah, so we'll determine later how things are flying and then determine.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. New business. Do we have any new business?
No, Mike Howard's going to talk.
Oh, okay, right, okay. I just wanted to ask, because of the complications of now having meetings and all the changes and having them in person with virtual, as per Mr. Garcia's conversation with me, and him saying that people, LSC members who are virtual cannot vote, and I think that in this time frame of how we're living, we don't know, are we going to go all remote again? We don't know. I think that our members who can't be here for whatever reason should be allowed to vote. So that means that we are gonna have to update our bylaws. So far, we've been following the general bylaws, outlined in the LSC, resource guide. So I don't know, because I've never amended bylaws, how we proceed. I know we're not voting on it now or anything else, but I don't know, I don't know what our next, steps are, if anybody.
I think that would be very fair. I kind of miss the voice of our two members who aren't here today. If there's any way we could look into how to do that, I would like to have that done very quickly.
Okay.
I agree with you 100%.
I think it would be wise, considering that it looks as if the changes that we saw during the pandemic are coming into fruition and are things that we're gonna carry through into everyday lives in that. And so it could be quite often that something like this happens, since this is not going away anytime soon, so.
I do have a question, and
Yeah.
this would be for, Mr. Garcia. So if all of us decided we wanted to not come in for the meetings, even though we're supposed to, we wouldn't have a quorum if everybody decided. So the question to Mr. Garcia would be, do we still need an in-person quorum of 7 and then 8 for the budget? Because it could be kind of a slippery slope, if you
Yeah.
understand what I'm saying.
Right.
If I choose, I'm tired, I don't wanna come, will we have problems getting a quorum?
So I do think that email
That
does.
was in that email.
It does
yeah.
say that if we chose, and it's the chair's responsibility to decide that if we're all virtual for a meeting,
Right.
then we're basically back to virtual and we don't have to worry about an in-person forum, although it is recommended that the principal is in person at the school during that meeting.
I will always be here. I mean,
Yeah.
we're asking our kids to be here, and I think it's
Yeah.
important. I understand there's always an emergency, and I get that, but I think it's hypocritical if we don't show up. But I get the fact that there's always an emergency, and I'm cool with that, but I would try to sway away from all of a sudden, now we're staying at home because it's easier for us.
Yeah, and I think the only reason to stay home is if you have a health concern, if
Exactly,
there's an extenuating
exactly.
circumstance,
Yeah, or
unless,
childcare or
as an
something, we get
LSC, we vote that something goes,
Right, I did see that in the email, but it also, under the Open Meetings Act, it says, when in person, let me get to the right place. So if the member is prevented from attending in person because of the following: personal illness, employment, or LSC business, or family of other emergency. So my question would be, you still have to have a quorum. I'm assuming that we have to have an in-person quorum, because the only ways you can change it is if CPS, public health, or whoever it was, they gave a list of
Right, gave a list
people.
of the,
So
right.
it's not like we can just decide, it's kind of cold that day. Let's
No, we
not
have
come
to
in.
have our quorum here. I mean, I think the idea is that, if people can't be here for those reasons, and I know that, I'm not sure if Mike, sometimes you travel for work. I know, different things come up, and I think it's important for the LSC to have all of our members not only be able to participate, but to be able to vote. And so, following the guidelines that we do have, because Mr. Garcia told me today, although I know in the past people have voted who weren't present in the past on LSCs, he told me today that you cannot do that if you are not present. So I think that we should, adapt, like we can adapt the general
I
bylaws,
totally-
but then
yeah.
put in there, we
I
have to,
totally agree. I totally
yeah,
agree.
right.
That's
So,
definitely the way it should be. I just don't want.
right.
How am I trying to explain it? I
You
just
don't
don't want.
want it to be used as a fallback.
Yes, yes.
Sure.
So it's, it's illness, it's, and all of us, I'm sure, are a little nervous being around people now. So I get that.
I do, I kind of second what Scott said. I'd like to try to get it done as soon as possible, because in January I will be traveling.
Yeah.
And I can tell you this, that all due respect, I can't plan my schedule around an LSC meeting.
Right.
So, I would love to be able to zoom in, and place a vote, I have to, but, yeah, I agree. Times that we're in now, should be a no-brainer.
I give, just second what he said, like tonight's vote didn't matter because even if our 2 absentee votes were voted, it wouldn't have tilted it, but I would hate for a vote to be tilted when someone wasn't here, and they could have, if they could have said. So my point right now is this is new business. Can we do this all right now? Do we want to do this now?
I don't know anything about
Well,
changing bylaws.
we cannot change it right now because we can't vote on something unless it's on the
Gotcha.
agenda.
Okay, good enough.
So what we can do is, if anybody else wants, I mean, I will look into it, but God, I didn't say, I wanted to say so badly, but I didn't want to set a wrong tone at the beginning of the meeting that, I work full time. I want to be available to everybody, but I have to work all this out in family time.
So we're all in
So-
agreement, we want to get it done ASAP.
So we do want to get it done at ASAP. I will put it on the agenda for next meeting, but we are gonna have to, somebody's gonna have to understand how we do it. Yes, Kathy?
Bylaws are in the manual, it's a model template.
Yeah.
Everybody can look at it, suggest change.
Cool. Thank you,
Okay. Okey doke. So I will have that on the agenda for next month, and any information I find, we can, right, and we can put it in the Google Drive, and then if anybody else has any additional information, if we can use that Google Drive and also our email list to try to work out the details so that we can just vote on it in the next meeting.
Can I ask real quick a clarification, especially to you, Nina? So are you proposing perhaps you have to have an in-person quorum, anybody else can still vote?
Well, that's what this means to me, but I just don't want people to use it as an excuse, because we can't conduct business if we don't have 7 people in the building. So that's the only thing I'm worried about.
I wanna make sure I
And we need 8 for
understood that
budget
proposal.
transfers, right,
Yeah.
so I'm all about keeping people safe and all that, and that's fine, it's just, we just have to make sure everybody knows that we can't conduct business unless 7 of us plus 8, or 8 of us are here, that's all.
All right,
Yeah.
thank you.
Okay, so we'll get information into the Google Drive for the October agenda, and any information you have, you can go ahead and start dropping that in there. And if anybody doesn't have access, please let me know. I think sometimes if you don't have a Gmail account, it gets
I
difficult.
do not, but maybe it's a Gmail.
Okay.
Maybe it's a Gmail issue, I can't get stuff, I have to have Gmail. I do have it, I just started working at an elementary school.
Okay.
So I can lose that Gmail.
Okay.
But it's in the Gmail account, right? Because I have had problems with security on those files, and it says I don't have rights. So as long as it's a Gmail account, I should be okay, right?
I think that's how that works. Yeah. Okay, was there any other new business? We all good, okay? Anything else that anybody needed to want to add on the agenda? And of course, just let me know. I'm trying to get these things out 48 hours ahead of time, business days, because they need to be posted on here, and the other building as well, the Freshman Academy as well.
It's your first time, don't worry, don't stress, it'll
Um,
all
Oh,
work out.
thank you. I'm good, thank you. I got my water, so I'm good. Okay, so we are now at public participation portion, and I know that we had at least one person, I don't know if you're still hanging out here. Michael Howe,
Yeah, thank you very much. Hey,
thanks for sticking with us.
I'm a counselor at the varsity campus. I've been working, this is my 12th year at Taft. And I just wanted to speak, I heard during the facilities portion that they were talking about the air conditioning in the cafeteria. And I just wanted to speak to the temperature in the counseling office. Today, the temperature read 80 degrees. It was more inside than it was outside. I've heard different versions over the years, that the chiller's broken. This is not working. That's not working. I hear that that they're ordering a compressor, and I understand that it's a few months out of the year, in the beginning of the year and the end of the year, but it really has been detrimental to not only us, the workers, but the students. I mean, today I had a student in my office. The student got up to leave. I had another student come in, and the student said, "Wow, this seat's all wet," because the student was in the chair. So it's something that needs to get taken care of and hasn't been for quite a while. And I know there are other pressing matters for the school, but I just wanted to make it a point that and speak up for myself, the students, the parents that we have in there, because it really it's an uncomfortable situation for us and the students, really.
Mr. Howe, in there, in your offices, are there windows that maybe we can put window units in temporarily until it's fixed, or?
There are about 3 windows in the counseling office, and I'm not aware if they can put a window unit in there or not. I think it would be difficult potentially to do that. I know they've done that in the cafeteria, but I just Bridget and Scott and I have been in communication since school started, and it's just it's been really, really hot. And our engineer came in just as we were doing the professional development week and fixed something. And, we weren't getting cool air, but it wasn't as warm in our office. So something happened. And then we were like, okay, maybe we're in the clear here. But again, for the 12 years now, or 11 years, and now my 12th year that I've been working here, it's been pretty bad, and it's never really resolved itself. So I just wanted to kind of speak to that, just for, again, when students are in our office, and many times talking about, many times they're in distress emotionally.
Not good.
They don't need to be physically in distress either.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's just kind of something I wanted to bring up.
Thanks. I know we talked about that a little bit at facilities. I know I don't know what's going on, what we're really able to do. Thank you for your comment, Mr. Howe. Nice to meet you. I don't know if we have anybody else. Was there anybody else who wanted to speak? I think that's it. Okay, so if that's the case, wait, yes, oh, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, I want to get out of here too. I'm very sorry.
No problem.
I'm going to talk quick because it's late. No, I'm going to talk quick. Thank you. I would be remiss if I didn't, but if I let this opportunity go to praise Mr. Patakis, Ms. Foster, and Ms. Jones for the way that they ran auditions for All Together Now. It's a tremendously complicated task, organizationally, the way they put it all together, the way they sat down. They let me in the room because I make them laugh, and I think that the atmosphere a little bit. But watching them work with the kids and the way that they work with them in those auditions is tremendously inspirational. And the way they all sat down and collaborated and found a way to jigsaw everything together to give 38 kids 5 opportunities to perform is incredible. And just walking, I've walked through a couple of the visual art rooms and I've seen works in progress. I can't wait for those to go up on the wall. This school's going to be so beautiful this year. The visual art teachers are doing a fantastic job. The forest teachers are doing a fantastic job. Like in the performing arts area, we were really worried that is there going to be anybody left? We have a monumental senior class. We know that Anne is still here and a few others, but like, is there going to be a supplier where we're going to have to rebuild? And like, we've got 50 kids. There's almost zero crossover between those 2 shows. Right out of the gate, there's so much pent-up demand, and it's like, just as arts teachers, we're all so excited to get back working with the kids, and it's fantastic. So that's it.
That's amazing. I just want to say, do we have a web section, like the department, where you can share? I mean, because this is such great. These are such great things.
I think there's pages on the Taft website, teacher pages at least.
Okay, is anybody posting anything to those? I mean, I know we don't kind of have a.
We just cast stuff, we just started rehearsals, so, and of course, always there's things with copyright and stuff like that. We have to be negotiated.
Well, I just hope that you're able to share those things on our website so everybody can see the great work that's being done.
Like visual arts, at least, going all the way, take pictures and post them, like,
right.
The work that visual arts students are doing is phenomenal. It has been for years. Right. And now with pottery, I can't wait.
Great. Thank you. Is there any other public comment? Is there any other questions? Okay, I move that we adjourn. All in favor? Okay, anyone opposed? Abstentions? Okay. Thank you, everybody, for your patience and for being here tonight.